Hi, everybody. I'm here today to talk to you about the Metamorphosis Journal, directions for that, the process, what to expect, how to do it. All of that is in this video. So if you have any types of questions about those things, then please stick with it. I want to start with the definition for that word, metamorphosis. And that is a verb. So it's an action word or a being word. And what it means is a metamorphosis is the process of transformation from an immature form to an adult form. And if you're like me, you've probably most often encountered that word metamorphosis in the context of the butterfly, like the life cycle and the different stages of a butterfly's life. So before they are butterflies, they start out as eggs. They hatch, they become caterpillars. After that, very hungry caterpillar eats his fill and goes through the regular old caterpillar stage. Eventually, they develop a chrysalis or a cocoon or a pupa, whatever terminology you want to call it. That caterpillar is going to go inside that chrysalis where they transform, change forms into the butterfly, which finally will bust out of its shell into its adult form, a full-fledged flying butterfly. It doesn't look anything like a caterpillar. It's amazing that it's the same creature, right? But it totally is. And here's an illustration just to show you of what that breaking out process looks like once that butterfly is ready to come out of the chrysalis. This step by step sort of shows you what, you know, the emerging butterfly looks like and what the chrysalis looks like after it's been left behind. I wanted to show you that, um, excuse me, just visually looking at these illustrations so that you have an idea of what this journal could be, what this journal could help you to keep track of. In this situation, I want you to think of yourself as this butterfly that is in the chrysalis that will eventually emerge. Um, you know, a lot of people are thinking that once this whole COVID-19 thing blows over, then you can go back to the way that things were. And that's an opinion that a lot of people have. It's a hope that a lot of people have. Personally, I don't think that history works that way. And the times that we're in, this moment that we're in, things are changing. And so you could consider, you know, in a way, all of us are the caterpillar who are now inside the chrysalis. And chrysalis, of course, not just being like your own home that you're in, but like the situation that you're in, right? Um, of course, a butterfly doesn't really have choice what happens inside that chrysalis. In a way, you know, um, it is definitely out of the caterpillar's control. The caterpillar doesn't get to choose, okay, today I would like to transform these front legs into like the antenna, right? The butterfly doesn't get to decide that. These changes will happen in their own time inside that chrysalis whenever it's supposed to happen. So it is a major difference that you, within your chrysalis, you have more choices than that caterpillar. You get to decide how you spend your time. You do have responsibilities and obligations, yes, but excuse me, since we're not physically locked in to all being like to all attending the same class in the same room in the same building anymore, you do have a bit more flexibility of being able to make certain choices as to how you spend your time. And, you know, a part of this transition into being an independent learner, it's becoming this word I want you to become familiar with. And that word is autodidact. So, an autodidact is a person who is self taught, a person who is not formally enrolled in a school or a university or anything like that. An autodidact is a person who is interested in certain things, they have certain passions, and they teach themselves all about that thing. Some examples, there's this singer who is, probably going to pop off real soon. Her name's Billie Eilish. Um, I'm kidding. I know y'all know who Billie is. We got a lot of Billie fans across the middle school. So she and her brother would be considered autodidacts. They were homeschooled and they were able to kind of pursue their musical interests. Billie was encouraged to pursue her interest as a songwriter and as a musician, and her brother was encouraged to pursue his interest as like a producer or a sound engineer. And they were able to spend their time, um, you know, they're not learning whatever they're supposed to learn for homeschool. They spend the rest of that time directing themselves, teaching themselves about music and about songwriting. Um, so, of course, you're not quite in that exact situation because you are enrolled at a school, but there are certain things that you can do, which autodidacts have done, that will help you to level up and will help you to become a better independent learner. And one of those practices in leveling up as an independent learner, one of those steps to becoming a person who is an autodidact, is to reflect on the things that you've learned so far and reflect on your learning process. And so that is sort of the purpose of these Metamorphosis journals, which I want you to keep or start keeping in docs. So let's start with these learning objectives. Again, this is not a busy type of assignment. This is not something that I'm just like, what can I get the students to do that might be fun for me to read? Even though, of course, like I really do enjoy reading all the submissions that come in. Um, the purpose here is for you, the student, by the end of this process, uh, being able to analyze various kinds of media in writing. And of course, I just want to point out when you see this word media, I'm not talking about like social media necessarily or media like TV or news type of media. This word media is actually a really flexible word that just means different types of art forms. So, media would count as books or literature. Media does include film or TV, music, even video games, of course, are media. Video games. In writing, so being able to write about different types of media, writing about your thoughts every week. And then here I write down the purpose, which I talked about a little earlier. So, the purpose of this Metamorphosis Journal is for you to practice writing your thoughts and opinions on a regular basis, ideally every week. Um, and also to practice being an independent learner by reflecting on what you have learned. So, I have a direction slide right here. Excuse me. Um, Copy the blank template for each entry, fill out the day and the date, fill out the category, upload a photo or illustration that represents your topic, and then 6 to 7 thoughtful sentences using the prompts. Let's look at what this actually looks like so I can walk you through this step by step. So this is the template. These are the prompts and the questions, And this right here is the blank template that you are going to copy every time you're going to write a new journal entry. So let's read this and look at the formatting here. So when you fill out your journal entry of the day, it is going to be about one thing. It's going to be about something that you're watching, something that you're reading, something that you're listening to, or it could even, if you don't want to write about a specific piece of media and that day you just want to write about something that you're feeling or thinking, you are absolutely welcome to do that. But I wanted to keep in mind that each of these blank templates is only going to be about one thing. So if that week, let's say you want to write about an episode of a Netflix show that you watched, but you also write about a book that you're reading, please make sure that you have two totally, completely separate entries. Don't, don't, do not combine your two different media into one journal entry, because that is going to defeat the purpose of this whole exercise. It's really, really important that you only focus on one thing. I want you to go, less but more deep rather than more like quantity, less quality, right? So when you're filling this out, you're going to write down the day and the date, because it does matter whether it's a weekday or a weekend that you are writing this or that you are processing the thing, the media. In this top category, it says choose one category or create one of your own. Watching, listening, reading, learning, playing, thinking, and feeling. These are the most common choices that I can think of. But if you can think of one on your own that you want to use here, some type of verb, and it really should be a verb, some type of word that ends in ing that represents an action or a state of being, then you are welcome to use that. But whatever category you use is going to be related to whatever it is you're writing about. So in my particular case, if this is my journal entry right here, okay, then I'm going to choose the category. I'm going to erase that word, and it's going to be watching, because I'm going to write about a Netflix series that I saw. Oh, day and date over here, of course. Let's say today is Tuesday, the 31st. Here where it says image, I want you to upload either a photo or an illustration of something that's representing the topic that you're writing about or related to what you're writing about. So you could do 1 to 2 images. If I go up here, so this is in Docs, right? So if you go up here to insert image, mine is going to say upload from computer, but if you're doing this from the iPad, yours, of course, is going to say something like choose from photos or video, which is going to give you access to the camera roll in your library. So upload my most recent picture. Oh, I actually do have 2 of them. Okay, so this is one image from the show that I'll be talking about. If I click enter, then I have enough room where I can insert the other image, which is this leopard. Okay, so I've got this fabulous leopard and some coral. All right, now we're here on words, what the words are. Let's scroll back and look at the questions, and I'm going to expand this so we can see a little better. So in the words section, describe what the media is. Again, and I've defined different types of media here. So you would just choose whatever it was. What did you think about that media? What did you think about that book? What did you think about that TV series? What did you think about that song and why? Did you enjoy it? Why or why not? What did you like about it? Be very, very specific here. I really do not want to see people writing, this song was really cool. Period. End of sentence. Or, I really like this film, this movie. It was really good. Yes, and? What else? I want to know why you think that movie or that TV show is so good. Is it the script? Is it an interesting story? Is it the acting? Are people doing a great job, like performing and saying their lines and making you feel for who those characters are? If it's a book, uh, do you like the story because of what's happening, plot wise? Do you like the story because you're really interested and attached to the characters? Like, even if it seems obvious, just remember that everybody is going to have different reactions to everything. So, the more that you can explain your own responses and reactions and be very specific and clear about those, the easier it is to understand. Okay. Oh, here we go. Yeah. What was done well? What could be improved and why? And then lastly, would you recommend this media to a classmate? Why or why not? So you don't actually need to address every single one of these questions. I would say the most important questions of these four would be the first one to describe what it is. And then the second one, what did you think about that and why? These other two here, what was done well and would you recommend this, are more for like helping you to expand your thinking and write more. Um, and of course, if there are questions or topics on this list that are, I mean, if there are questions that you want to address, but they're not on this list, you're absolutely welcome to write about that. 6 to 7 sentences is just the minimum. You're always, always welcome to write more. So, as part of my model example, when I go down here to the words part, I did write mine ahead of time. So I'm just going to go over here and copy and paste. And this may seem like a lot of writing. Guys, this is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sentences that I was able to come up with. And I think it took me about 10 minutes, maybe less, to write this whole thing. And okay, so let me just paste this in here. All right, so let me read this to you. You can read along. My Metamorphosis Journal entry for today is about the series Night on Earth, which is on Netflix. I'm going to italicize this because we do italics when it's the title for something long, like a movie or an album. So, Night on Earth is a new documentary series on Netflix. Each episode features stories of animals in different habitats and what they do at night. For example, the series shows how creatures living in coral reefs are affected by rising and falling tides, excuse me, excuse me, due to the moon's phases. It also shows animals walking into cities where humans live when they need to find food. For example, in Mumbai, India, leopards often hunt small pigs or dogs that belong to local people who live along the edge of the city. So you're going to notice I didn't go into describing every single episode, and I think there are, I want to say 6 or 7 episodes of this whole series. I only described like 2 or 3 things from the show that I enjoyed and that I found specifically interesting. Okay. So I didn't write everything that I could have written. Just want to highlight here this sentence tells you what Night on Earth is and what it's about. 2 sentences here that start with for example. So let me highlight that. First example of something from the series, how creatures living in floral coral reefs are affected by rising and falling tides. Another example, animals walking into cities where humans live and they need to find food. That's actually a very general statement. I have another example here. Let me highlight that. And that example about the leopards in Mumbai who hunt small pigs or dogs. This second paragraph down here, and the reason why I split it into 2 different paragraphs is just because they are 2 different questions. I mean, the second paragraph here sort of combines those two. So there's a lot of flexibility on this. As long as you start, like the first thing that you write about is the description, the rest of these could go in pretty much any order, and that's going to be up to you. So, my opinion about Night on Earth, I enjoyed the series a lot. There are so many beautiful scenes of animals rarely seen at night. The narrator, Samira Wiley, fabulous actress, tells every story in a dramatic and intriguing way. I would recommend the series to anyone who loves animals or wants to learn about nature. Okay, let's unhighlight this. So this is just an example what your model would look like, or this model would show you what your own journal entries would look like. Um, you have your day and the date. You have your category, which is a verb of what you are watching or listening to, thinking or feeling. Images from the show. So these are glowing corals. They do glow on their own. It's called bioluminescence. Look it up. This is a leopard. All right. Okay, so I think that is pretty much everything I need to explain about this assignment. If you have any other questions, you can type them into the comments on this post or message me directly. And yeah, all right, that's it for now. Talk to you guys later.